Hi and good evening. My name is Cristina Williams, and it is a real pleasure to be with you this evening. Tonight's topic of conversation for this team training that we do on a Monday night is about connecting, learning to share Asea, how to invite people to webinars, exactly what to say, what to do, how to connect in. Because at the end of the day, we are in a business where, despite of all the amazing things that we can do, watch webinars, learn about redox, attend things, do personal development. There's so much that we can do every day, but if we're not sharing this technology with other people, we aren't growing. So what's standing between you and your outcomes, between you and your goals, is really the ability to share this with sufficient people. And the reality is that there are a lot of people out there waiting to hear from you. I know there's some people on this call that are absolutely brand new to Asea, and they're just looking at this workshop as a way of getting started, finding out how it is that we share this technology. What is it that we do to build this business? Well, the answer to that is that there are a lot of people who are waiting for you to share this with, either because they're struggling with a health condition or because they are looking for better solutions in terms of their finances. They're struggling economically or they're struggling with their health. And inside this blue bottle behind me, you have the answer to both those problems. You can bring hope, you can bring excitement, you can bring transformation to someone's life. So how do we do it? That is the topic of tonight's presentation. I know so many of you have had personal experiences with Asea. You know this product is incredible. You want to share it, but you're just wondering how. How do I begin sharing this? How do I build a global business? Now, I will say this as a disclaimer, that I am not the only person who has a script to share or some information to share about how to share Asea. I have built my business differently to Malcolm, differently to Danny, differently to many leaders. So by all means, if what I share with you tonight you don't relate with, or you can't see yourself saying the things that I say, please adjust them, go to your upline. Honestly, this is just one way of sharing this technology. There are many, many paths up the mountain. So let's launch straight in. What we'll be covering this evening, we're going to be learning to talk about Asea comfortably, because this is your business. If you have decided to build Asea as a business, you're not just a consumer of the product, you're not just a member loitering around enjoying the vibe, you actually want to build a global business, you really need to learn to explain what Asea is. You also really need to answer this question frequently, what it is that you do. You need to be comfortable starting a conversation, and you really need to be good at closing the follow-up. So who wants to learn how to do all those three things? I'm going to cover a lot of information. Let's hope I do it in a good amount of time. Here's the clock. All right. So what is Asea? Firstly, as I mentioned, some of you on this call might be absolutely brand new. And please allow me to firstly briefly introduce myself. When I came to this technology, I didn't understand. I'd never heard of redox signaling. I had no idea at all what it was. I certainly had never understood much about biochemistry. I wasn't a specialist in this at all. I was just a single mum with 4 little boys at home, trying to find my way through. I had a marketing business. And the reason I came across Asea was through a dear friend of mine, Danny Doyle. He was diagnosed with an illness that was threatening his life, and doctors really told him he was out of options. And that is why Asea came into our lives, through the phone call of another friend, Bart, Kotter, who said some very simple words such as, "Mate, I think I have something that might help." That literally was it. You know, sometimes we go wondering, like, what is the great big strategy? How do I connect with people? Do I have to say all the right words? Well, in Danny's case, it was, "I think I have something that might help." And look at what's happened out of that. Danny now has a global organization, one of the top leaders in this company, just from those few words. So Danny went over to the US. I saw him recover his health. I saw my friend regain his life right before my very eyes. The medical community had given up on him, but the folks at Asea would not. And I don't think it's too bold to say that without this product, Danny wouldn't be here. After having seen Dan's transformation, I had to reevaluate my life. I had to think about what I was doing. I knew that this product had to get to more people. I knew that this was something that would allow me to have impact on the world, and I just had to find a way to share it. In order to share it, I had to understand what Asea was. So I invite you to just quickly explore with me exactly what is Asea. I'm not going to do a big presentation on this, but for those of you that are new, please understand. Asea is not a food, a vitamin, a mineral, an antioxidant, a juice. When we're sharing Asea, it is so important that we really make the distinction that we're talking about a breakthrough, something that falls outside every single other product that people have ever seen before. And we need to share it that way. We need to share it like it is a breakthrough, because it is. So one of the most simple ways to share information is through analogies. Every time I'm making a phone call, when I'm explaining Asea, I do use this information where I say, you know what, everything you've known about the health industry, every supplement, every mineral you've ever taken falls into the category of materials. Materials that your body needs to build cells. Now, if we're building a house, you've got things like brick, wood, tiles, etc. But you also need the labor. You need carpenters, tilers, bricklayers to show up and utilize those materials. In the same way, everything you've been using so far is a material for your body. But redox signaling, what we're talking about here today, is the worker that shows up and puts all that material to work. I explained very simply that they've never heard of this product before because it is a new category creator. It is completely outside anything they've ever seen. So what exactly is Asea? We know what it's not. How do we explain what it is? Everybody has their own way, but this is my way. You're welcome to share, to grab a screenshot. And if somebody asks me at a barbecue even, what do you do? You know, or what is that product? Or what are you giving to your son right now if I'm using the gel? I'll say this kind of, I'll make this kind of a statement. Well, this company, Asea, they're the first and only in the world to have made a product that contains redox signaling molecules. Now, the only other place you'll find these molecules is inside your cells and mine. And they are biological messengers that are responsible for making possible all the important jobs that your cells do: protection, repair, regeneration. Usually people, they know that these things are happening. But what they may not know is that their levels of these molecules are declining. But now for the first time, Asea is allowing us to supplement in these important molecules and trigger healing at its most foundational level, the cell. I explained that Asea is validated by scientific studies and it's being hailed as one of the most important breakthroughs of our time. Now you can do this super quickly. I tell you, because I have done this in an elevator. I have done this going through the checkout at Walmart. And here it is. Here is Asea in 5 simple points. Because if we're going to be communicating with a lot of people, please, friends, understand that we have to be experts at simplifying. One of the mistakes that I made at the very beginning, because I was so excited, was that I would constantly just vomit redox. I was constantly just, who can relate to that? I was just constantly giving people 17 different pages of information about biochemistry. And hey, nobody really cares. What they want to understand is, what's it going to do for me? So this is a simple way of explaining it. We are made of cells. Not all cells are healthy. Our cells are constantly in a state of protection, repair, replacement. Number 3, the molecules in charge and responsible for this incredible set of activities that our cells are doing are called redox signaling molecules. Now, unfortunately, the bad news, point number 4, is that our levels are constantly declining through the natural aging process, but now even more so through the environment. Asea is the first company to have given us a solution to this crisis. They're the first, the only, they're a new frontier of health because they're allowing us for the first time ever to supplement in these important molecules. Now you can do a 2-hour seminar on these 5 points, or you can literally just say, what's that product? Look, we're all made of cells. Not all cells are healthy. The molecules that are in charge of keeping our cells in a good state are called redox, but unfortunately our levels are declining. We just don't make enough, do we? Asea, this product right here, is the first possible way of supplementing in redox levels. That took less than a minute. So you can blitz through it, but it's very important to have a message. So whatever your message is, make sure it's simple, make sure you can get it out in 100 words or less, practice it with your dog, and make sure that it's something you can cover very, very quickly. There are those 5 points. I won't go through them again, but it is really, really important that you have a very simple way of explaining, because I used to get caught with, well, what is redox signaling? And then I would start a 4-hour seminar, and honestly, I'd end up more confused myself, and you can see the prospect glazing over. And you know what happens? You think that you're brilliantly imparting them with so much information. What the prospect is doing is thinking, well, golly, I could never go through all that. I could never learn all that. I could never remember all that. No thanks. This is too hard. So simple is key. Okay, have you ever been asked, what do you do? And then, next thing you know, you're choking on the piece of steak at the barbecue because you're trying to explain this, or you're kind of mildly apologizing for this little Asea thing that you've got on the side. If you're going to have a global business, my friend, you do not need to apologize. You need to be so proud of what you do, and you need to be clear about what you do. So what do you do? I don't sell a little product. I don't, walk around trying to chase ambulances. I don't have a tiny little home-based business. I mean, you might want to use whatever phrase you want, but if you're looking to set up a global business, you have to talk like a global entrepreneur. So when someone asks me what I do, I say that I partner with a US-based medical biotech in a new field called redox signaling, and we're bringing to market an important new technology. This product has huge applications in the world of medicine, longevity, and beauty. And my team and I are interested in connecting with individuals in key markets like Sydney who can appreciate this opportunity and may wish to play a role in helping us bring it to market. Would you like to have a chat with one of our specialists so they could fill you in with more details? Obviously, that last line is going to depend on where you are. If you're at a barbecue, you might modify that. But I talk about entrepreneurship. I talk about pioneering a product technology. Use words like breakthrough instead of words like product, because they really magnify what you have on your hands. And if you're brand new, you might not even know what you have on your hands yet, but I will cover that in a little bit. Okay, very clear to know what you're not doing. Okay, I never see myself selling. I am educating. When people say, oh, how do I go about selling this product? It kind of grates me. I know selling, there's nothing wrong with selling. We do a lot of selling in our life. People are out there, if you go into a real estate agent, they're selling houses. If you go into a shoe shop, they're selling shoes. If you go even, to the gym, they're selling memberships or they're selling fitness. Selling is every kind of business. Every business is selling something. But particularly here with this breakthrough that we've got on our hands, our job is mainly to educate. I've been approached by so many different network marketing businesses through my time. I can't even tell you. I was even offered a large sum of money to go into one at a high level. I couldn't believe they did that. With Asea, the reason I got involved with Asea is because we have a breakthrough on our hands. It is not hard to create curiosity when you have a product no one has ever heard of. It's not hard to create curiosity when you have a product everybody needs and everybody can use. And it's not hard to create loyalty when you're the only place they can source that product from. So I don't need to sell, neither do you. You just need to educate. We certainly don't need to chase. You are attracting. Have the mindset that you have something really special in your hands, because you really do. This product is poised to change the entire health industry, and you are the one participating in that breakthrough, reaching more and more people. Okay, I'm getting excited. You're certainly not pushing, you are resolving. People have issues, believe it or not. People like Danny had health issues. I had financial issues when I was looking at this. I literally was scrolling through Safari, through Google every night, looking for home-based businesses, ways to earn money from home. What could I do after hours? People are looking. So go and look for the people that are looking for you, and this will not be a struggle. Please know that you are not a doctor. You don't have to know everything about redox biochemistry. You don't have to learn, a million different new specialties here or how to treat diabetes. You certainly do not have to, rely on your upline team that has experience, but you're not a doctor. You're just a specialist in redox, and you have the tools available to be a specialist without spending a year learning about this. Okay. You are certainly not convincing others. You must exude conviction. And by having conviction, people will follow. So you are a specialist, you're a visionary, you're an entrepreneur. So walk like one. Walk like one into every conversation. You know, previously when I've had different businesses before that I haven't been very proud of, I felt like I'm begging. I feel like I'm begging people for a favor to participate. With Asea, what I've seen that this has done for other people in their health, what I've seen that it has done for other people with their businesses, and in my own personal life, I know that people want this information. They need this information. So you can do it with confidence and conviction. Okay, so exactly what do you say? How do we start a conversation? Firstly, I guess I'll say that conversation doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to give you some guidelines here of how I do it, but I've also really, really stuffed up some conversations. Can I just confess that? There's been times where I've gotten off the phone or I've walked away from a place where I've been sharing Asea, and I've just thought, wow, Cristina, that was like a dog's breakfast. That was terrible. And lo and behold, the person has gotten excited and gotten started. And sometimes I've walked away like a rooster thinking, wow, that was 100%. I wish I had recorded that. And the person thought I was crazy. So moral of the story, if they're looking for you, honestly, you don't have to be perfect. But here's some guidelines. There are really two approaches, two kinds of conversations you can have in the business. And, you know, personally, I don't think we need to go, am I building it on product or am I building it on business? You know, I feel like we have to build it on both. I don't know one person who's only building on one. So let's stop creating this big divide. If you're talking about the opportunity is only good because you have an incredible product in your hands. And if you have an incredible product and they understand that it's a breakthrough, the opportunity is right there lingering because we need to get it to more people. Now, if somebody has a health challenge, you know, they've got some kind of really a scary disease or they've got a chronic illness, I'm not going to approach them about a business opportunity straight up at all, unless they've asked me for that. Most of the time, if they've got a health challenge, I'm definitely just going to approach them about the health benefits of the product. So that's how I know who I'm talking to. Everybody else, I'm going to talk to about the opportunity because they'll get on the product anyway. So what do you say? This is not a business approach. Just be human. Just be a normal human being. If you've got something that can help someone, ring them up and say, hey, I know it's been ages. I hope you don't mind me reaching out to you, but I saw on Facebook that you're struggling with arthritis. I'm really, really sorry. I just wanted to share something that maybe could help. I've recently come across a biomedical company in the US. Have you heard of redox signaling? No. Well, look, they're specialists in this. They're the only laboratory in the world that have been able to make this special molecule that triggers healing in our cells. I won't bore you with all the details because honestly, I don't know that much about it, but I've seen other people getting great results with arthritis and maybe it could help you. May I connect you with a specialist who can explain a little bit more detail about how it works? Now, you can probably see from the screen that I couldn't even stick to reading it because I can't. I feel like when I'm talking to somebody about their health, you've just got to be natural. You've just got to be you and be real, okay? Put your heart out there. You want to help people. Just tell them you've got a breakthrough and connect them to your upline. Set up a three-way call, okay? So if they say, well, yeah, sure, I am open to a bit more information. I've never heard of it. The next thing you're doing is setting up a three-way or inviting to a webinar. How do you set up a three-way? Very simple. You ask them firstly when they're available. Okay, great. You're open to more information. How would Friday work or is Saturday better? Open them an alternate choice rather than when are you next free? And then they'll give you an idea. Well, look, Saturday's kids' sports. If you could call me Friday during the day, that would be great. You've already spoken previously to this with your upline to line up some of their windows, some of their times, and you're going to offer those times. And then once they've confirmed that they can do Friday, you can say, look, that's great. I'll give you a bell at 10 a.m. on Friday. I will have Dan or I'll have Julie on the line and they'll be able to explain everything to you. I really look forward to hopefully seeing you get better. Okay, so that's how I say it. I say I'll introduce you to Julie. She's a specialist. She's amazing. You'll love her. Build up your upline, that your specialist that you're bringing in, because the more you build up that person, the more your prospect is going to want to hear from them. I tell you what, the three-way call is the most underutilized resource in the business. You've got access to upline. In this team and whoever you are listening to, the whole of Asea has got access to upline that if you put them in front of people every week, you're going to get people coming into your team. You're going to get people using the product. The experts are communicating with it. So if you're not sure that you are, all you need to learn is a script to open the door and then connect them with a specialist, with someone in your upline that can have those conversations. And guess what? You're going to be listening and you're going to catch a lot. You're going to grow, you're going to learn, and you're going to see them handle objections. And that is how you're going to grow your business. So please use the three-way. If you're not sure how to set up a three-way, we have plenty of templates. We have plenty of people in your upline that can help guide you. Excuse me. Okay. So how do we set up a business? Again, the three-way is wonderful, but now you're going to be building up your upline, not as a product specialist necessarily, but as an entrepreneur, a very successful business person, partnering with Asea to bring this technology to new markets. They've developed an enormous business. You really want to talk to Danny. Okay, but the script is going to be slightly different. Interesting, when I first got started, I really was just, I'm just being honest, I was just looking for sick people. I didn't think that I had it in me to talk to people about business. You know, why would I have it in me to talk to people about business? I was a single mother with 4 kids struggling for money. I didn't have the self-esteem to talk to anybody about business. If you're struggling to talk to people about the opportunity, maybe check what you believe about yourself, because sometimes it's our hesitations. It's not about the marketplace. It's about ourselves. So I had some hesitations about reaching out to people until Malcolm said to me, you don't yet need to be successful. You can lean on the success of Danny. You can lean on the success of Bart and of myself and talk about us. Third party the conversation. Set up 3 ways. You don't have to be great. The product is great. The business is great. The market is ready. So I can kind of remove myself from it as a third party. The other thing Malcolm said to me is, if you want to grow a large global organization, you're going to need to go out looking for business builders, not just customers. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with adding customers, and certainly some of those become incredible builders. But I really feel that a business needs to have a balance of both. And if you look at any leader in Asea, they've got both in their business, right? Consumers and business builders. So Malcolm, for example, he wouldn't mind me sharing, he's sponsored now, I think, around 110 people personally, but his business globally is around 30,000 people. I think it's even exceeded that now. So even those numbers, the fact he's been able to achieve that in less than 4 years, that tells you he's gone out seeking business builders as well as consumers. Those 110 people could not just be product consumers. So what do we say in order to connect with entrepreneurs? Okay, this is what I say. You can reach out to anybody. If you haven't spoken to them in 10 years, just say that. Hi, Anne, how you been? My gosh, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years. It's been a while, hasn't it? And then move on. You know, if you're worried about something, then move on from it. Just actually voice it and then move forward. It's been so long since we've spoken, but I've come across something very exciting and I thought of you immediately. Give them a reason why you're calling. Listen, a friend of mine, Dan, he's a health entrepreneur. He's partnering with a US-based medical biotech. They're bringing to market a genuine breakthrough for cell health. It's a massive advancement in the world of medicine. It's powerful, no current competitors. The company's fully capitalized, so they're not looking for investors, but the team is interested in connecting with influential people right there in Adelaide, I spelled that wrong, or wherever, right there in Atlanta, right there in Paris, who wish to play a role in bringing this to market. Do you mind, Anne, if I ask you, are you and Jerry currently open to additional income streams? Okay, there you go. That's the contact. Very simple. Now, if you don't want to add that, you can tweak that last line. If you don't want to ask them if they're open to additional income streams, you can even say stuff like, we're looking for good people that are visionaries that would be willing to help bring this technology to market, that would like to pioneer this breakthrough, that recognize the commercial opportunity. There's a lot of different ways to basically say, are you interested in making more money? That's all we're trying to ask them, right? Are you open to opportunity? And then you tell them exactly what you'd like to do next. What I'd love to do next is line up a call with Dan. He's a specialist on redox, an incredible entrepreneur. He can give you more detail. So what's important here is people care about 2 things. What's in it for me? Honestly, we're all a little bit selfish. once people start talking, I know redox is exciting, but it's only exciting if you tell the person what's in it for them. If you're having a health conversation, what's in it for them? This is an opportunity maybe for you to feel better from your arthritis, or this is an opportunity for you to perform better as an athlete. Whatever is in it for them is what you've got to clarify in that conversation, okay? It's not exciting if you're just talking about redox. In general, you've got to specifically tell them what's in it for them. The other thing that we often miss is, what's next? Sometimes we just get out there, say all this great information, and then we forget to say what the next step is. So why are you calling me is the question people want to ask. Why me? What's in it for me? That's why at the very beginning of that conversation, I said, I thought of you. I've come across something really interesting and I thought of you. My friend, Danny, blah, 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 blah. Now, I know that you and Jerry are have always been really entrepreneurial. May I ask you, are you currently open to additional income streams? So I've been very clear that it's exciting. I thought of her. It's a breakthrough. And there's what's in it for them is potentially some more income. Now, you can adjust that. For example, if you're talking to a health practitioner, what's in it for you? John, I know you're an incredible visionary, progressive health practitioner. I thought of you immediately when I looked at this information because I know you're always looking for tools to better help your patients. You might have somebody who really loves helping people. So what's in it for them? This technology is incredible, Jenny. I've seen some wonderful testimonies so far. I thought of you immediately because you've got such a big heart and you love, I thought you would just love being involved with bringing this to market. You know, I'm just ad-libbing, but I always try and think before I make a phone call, what is the thing that could excite this particular person? And then the next part, what's next? Sometimes we say all these great things, but we don't lead people. This might come as a shock, but leaders lead, you know? So you've got to say things like, the reason I thought of you is, because they're wondering, why did she call me after 10 years? Oh, I thought of you because you got the yoga studio and this could be perfect. So tell them why you thought of them. I'm excited to share this with you because you guys have always been so entrepreneurial. This would be a perfect fit. Or I'm excited to share this with you because you're in Adelaide and we're looking for people in Adelaide. Find a reason to make it about them. I believe that you would be amazing. You're an incredible connector, or you're so well connected in sports. I believe that you could really thrive with this. Build them up, give them reasons why it's about them. It's not about redox. You're not in the business of molecules. You're in the business of people. So to move people along to the next step, use language like, the next thing I propose, or what I'd love to do next is, would you kindly allow me to connect you with Danny? Would you allow me to connect you with Mel? What I'd love to do is plug you into our Wednesday workshop. You know, I did a training recently to our team in Spain because we're having the workshop on Wednesday night, week in, week out, and people were not really using it to invite. I don't know if you're in the habit of inviting every Wednesday night, but did you know that you have somebody who has got an incredible amount of success and knowledge presenting on your behalf, explaining what Asea is? Invite people. I find that the workshop is a perfect second look. Sometimes it can be hard. It's kind of like going from a first date straight to the marriage to just kind of send out a message out of the blue and have somebody jump onto a workshop. I agree, that could be tricky. But if you've set it up, maybe you've reached out to them, you've told them a bit about the health benefits, or you've told them a bit about the opportunity, then what do you do next? That, yo, yes, this looks really interesting, Cristina. Yeah, no, wow, there's really interesting information. Then use language to lead them forward. Yeah, absolutely, John. I knew you'd be excited. Look, the next step is to plug you into a workshop. Would you have a spare half hour on Wednesday night to connect and view a specialist as he or she is going to present what the technology is, how the science works a little bit, show you the validation, show you some testimonies, and explain a little bit about the opportunity. That would be a great next step, John, because after that, you'll know if this is something you'd like to be involved with or not. Okay, so leading language, taking them through the process, whatever your process is, right? For me, the process is initial contact, a little bit of information, not too much. Rookie mistake, do not send 17 pages of links out because you are slowing down the process. I send out very little information, like 1 or 2 links that I know they can view very quickly. People will respond to your confidence, and your mindset. How does that work? Oh, here we go. Oh, goodness. How do I go back? They will respond to your confidence and your mindset. So if you're using leading language, the next step is, I knew you'd get excited by this. They're going to bounce off your energy. Funny that, the people that are most excited, that have the most conviction personally in Asea, are the ones that are the biggest builders. So build that conviction, both in the product and the opportunity, and especially in yourself. Your ability to lead depends on it. Okay, and relax, for goodness sakes. Making a contact, we're not reaching out to outer space. This isn't an alien. No one's drawn blood over the phone. No one has, caused me permanent damage by text. The majority, I can't even think of one really, really negative experience. Actually, I can think of one, and it was so hysterical, it made me laugh for hours. When the person answered the phone and said, state your business. And I got the giggles, and she hung up. So that's the worst, that's the worst of my experience of nearly just over 2 years of building this business. Learn to have fun with this. As a single mum, when I first started building Asea, honestly, and I still do it. Those of you who work with me know, I'm making my phone calls in the car. I'm cooking dinner. I'm at football with the kids. I'm picking them up from school. So you know what? I've had to learn to chill out. You will just sound better if you're a bit busy. Walk around the house. Pretend that this is you, sitting on the beach with your laptop, ringing people around the globe to build your global business and help thousands of people that need to hear about this technology. If you are getting the same objection all the time, oh, you're not going to like this one, but it's true. If you're getting the same objection all the time, you are projecting it. I'm sorry, I don't want to be mean, but this is for real. People who say to me, oh, everybody tells me it's expensive. Everybody tells me it's expensive. Oh, it's too expensive. I keep getting people hung up about the price. You know what? They think it's expensive. If people think this is great value, that this is because it's expensive compared to what? People go to Germany to get cancer treatment for $8,000 a day. People get injections for their beauty, for their wrinkles, at a few $100s per needle. I go through the airports all the time and look at the prices on skincare, and it's like $300 for a little pot of eye gel. Expensive. Expensive is relative. When you understand what is inside these two products, now this is, as many people say, it's the price of a cup of coffee to be on this technology per day. And what it can do in your body is incredible. So whatever objection you're getting, if people say, oh, people are always talking about network marketing, you're projecting it. And I encourage you to explore it, because here's the thing, other people don't get the same objection. Other people are building the business. I used to think that. I used to think, well, hang on a minute. Whatever I think is the obstacle isn't really an obstacle, because all around me, people like Danny, people like Bart are getting through building a business in the same marketplace with the same kind of people that I'm talking to. If I'm finding a stumbling block, how am I projecting it? We're not going to do a whole workshop on that, but really it is about changing your own personal energy and your own internal belief system, beliefs around this technology. If you believe that this is the greatest thing, that this is the next big breakthrough, you'll project that. People will come on board. Okay, reduce objections by establishing your own personal confidence. That's what we were just talking about. I've got to keep moving quickly here. Cover most of your objections in your delivery. People say to me, oh, how do you overcome the whole thing about network marketing? I tell them straight up in the first conversation, then we're done and dusted. And it's not an objection. It's just a bit of knowledge. So I say things like, oh, by the way, John, so I explain what redox is. Now, the reason we're having this conversation, John, is because the company, when they had first achieved this incredible breakthrough, they were approached by pharmaceutical companies. They were offered incredible amounts of money, many, many multi-million dollars on the table. But it was with the condition that they suppress the product, that they not distribute it, that they shut things down. And our team could not do that. So they took a massive risk. Can you imagine this, having a multi-million deal literally on the table, but saying no and deciding to go and find an alternative way to get to market, even knowing maybe you'll never make a cent? The integrity of these people, John, is incredible. They looked at all the different options for getting it to market and they decided it's not a drug. We don't need the pharmaceutical mob behind us. We can get this to market via direct distribution. And what that means, John, is that anybody like me or you can get involved with bringing this to other people who need it. Now, I've just explained network marketing and I've explained exactly why we've gotten to this point, why we're distributing in this way. So I'm covering my objections in my delivery. So they can't really, later on, if they're online or somebody tells them, oh, I think that's network marketing, they've already got a preconceived idea. That's a positive one because I have been the first one to plant it. So whatever objections you're getting, find a way to cover them before they've had a chance to form an opinion, really. Okay, how do you reduce objections? Also, focus on people and their goals rather than solely on the product. If you're spending your time over and over having to send, clinical studies and a million different testimonies and tons of validation on redox, then here's a tip. You're talking too much about the product. You're talking too much about the molecules. Once you start focusing on people, hey, the product is already working. We can see that because of the mountains of testimonies, the mountains of research. The product is already working because you look at the business growth that we've had. You cannot grow a business on salt water. You can grow a business on redox. But if you're focusing on people, if you're focusing on their goals, you're going to be having less conversations about molecules and more conversations about your prospect. And guess what people like to talk about? Themselves. So get back to them and away from biochemistry because it's boring. Exciting, but boring. And reduce objections by volume. The more you do, the less you care. I've made a bunch of calls today and some were good, some were bad, but I don't care because you know what? I know that I've done my job. You cannot be emotional. You've got to withdraw your emotion from the outcome and just trust the numbers. You put this in front of enough people, if you see yourself as a pioneer, you'll know that not everybody's going to get it, right? Or you wouldn't be a pioneer. You'd be coming too late to the party if everybody understood you from the beginning. I expect opposition. That is what an entrepreneur gets. That is what somebody does when they're bringing a breakthrough to market. They put up with questions, okay? But don't expect everybody to get it. But the way that I get through emotionally is by doing enough so that some people do get it. Straight from the beginning, the penny goes clang and they start moving forward. So do enough volume so that not one person matters. Only person that needs to be in at the end of every day is you. We have sufficient product validation, so you don't need to be dealing with objections about the product. We have scientific studies. Let's go through the validation here. We have a bunch of scientific studies. Do we want more studies? Yes, I tell people that. I said, look, we've got about 12 different studies. We currently have more in progress, which is true. We're currently establishing a redox-focused facility for the development of redox products and redox research, which is true. Right now, it's early stages. We're pioneering this technology. We already know it's safe, completely fine to use. We already know a number of very exciting things, such as, and I go through all the stuff that we know, the genetic studies, the free radical, the antioxidant action, the athletic studies. I go through what it's doing in people's body. I'm not going to go through it now from what we know. But I'm very happy to say, and in the next few years, we're going to discover even more. When people say, oh, yes, but I want to see the clinical trial, on diabetes, or I want to see the clinical trial on cancer, I explain to them that this is not a prescription drug, so we don't need to put it in that box. We don't need to test it like you would test a drug for diabetes. You don't need to test it like you would test a drug for thyroid issues because it's not a drug, period. So once you take them out of that box, you'll find it a lot smoother. But for people who love their studies, remind them that they can go on PubMed and have a look at studies relating to specific diseases and their role of redox in those diseases. There's tons. All you need to do is go to pubmed.com and you'll be able to find information on inflammatory conditions, autoimmune, cancer, yes, every single disease. Now, we're not saying it's a cure for anything. We're most certainly not saying that. Excuse me, I've got stuck there. But what we are saying is that this is a very active field from which the scientific community outside of Asea knows that many possibilities will emerge. Okay, got to keep flying here. We also can show them the product manufacturing video, which is new, shows them very clearly that we're doing a whole lot more to achieve this product than just mixing around some salt and water in a pot. Mountains of testimonial evidence. If you're not on Asea Healthy Self, get on it. This is a tool and use it. Every time I'm talking to somebody, if I'm nurturing a conversation, I've sent them some information, I've sent them some links. Oftentimes, the thing that gets them across the line is the testimonies. Add them to Asea Healthy Self. Tag them on a few things that are relevant. Take a screenshot and send it to them. You know, if they've got a grandma with Alzheimer's or memory problems, take a screenshot of a testimonial like this one here from Karen and send it to them and say, hey, Mary was thinking of you, thought you'd find this one exciting. Use the testimonials to build that confidence in the product. Of course, there's flour experiments. People can do their own experiments at home, so you can see very clearly that Asea is very different to water or salt water. But the ultimate way to get confidence with the product is to try it. And I encourage people not just to try it on themselves. If they're evaluating a business, you know, if you wanted to see if this tea was any good, would you just rely on your own perception of the tea, or would you give it to 10 people that you know and say, hey, what do you think of this tea? I'm thinking of going into business, into the tea business. So equally with Asea, if you have people in your life that are looking for ways to help themselves with their health challenges, get people to try it. And trying it means be on the product for a reasonable amount of time, 3 months minimum, use the gel, do those gel demonstrations, get people to try it in order to get confidence about the product. Okay, so we have the product validation. You saw that. We've got studies, we've got testimonials, we've got the manufacturing information. We've got validation from independent laboratories explaining and certifying that we have redox signaling molecules in this bottle. Now, what else do we need to know? For those people exploring the business opportunity, they want to know what company they would be getting involved with. Now, the company has an incredible reputation. The corporate team are amazing. If you are not coming to Envision, there are Envision conferences happening around the world right now. They are conferences put on by Asea corporate. If you're not coming to Envision, honestly, I don't know, you know, wow, what a disservice you would do to yourself. You need to get around this company to get to know them. For me, as a single mom with 4 kids, it was a massive stretch. The conference wasn't on the Gold Coast. I went to a conference in Utah. I went all the way to Utah. I used everything that I had. I had to scrunch money together. I stayed at an awful little place. But you know what? For me, that changed my life. I invested into getting connected with the people who were successful. I met the company. I got involved. I made an emotional decision that this was really my business and not just a hobby. So business people will be there at the event on the Gold Coast and in the USA coming up. So you will get to understand that we have here not just another cool product, but a breakthrough technology. You'll understand that we are protected by our heavy patents. There is a need in the market for a product exactly like this one. Nobody else can match that need because nobody else can make redox. We have broad market applications, health, beauty, longevity. These are billion-dollar industries, and we have zero competition as we enter new markets with redox. What is your risk? There's literally no outlay but the $40 US dollars that it costs to open your account. And after that, it's just your own product consumption. So it's low risk, minimal investment, and you have incredible support, not from people who have the theory, but from people who have results. You are supported, if you're on this call, by the leaders in the fastest growing team in this company. It is so exciting. If you want to be successful, you have the perfect storm. Now, after having done an incredible contact, after having been able to express how incredible this breakthrough is and having shared a little bit about why this business opportunity is so unique, this perfect storm, then you'll need to close out with a follow-up. And I'm going to spend just a few minutes explaining how to do a good follow-up. A good follow-up is one that you do. How to do a great follow-up? Well, actually do one. I've done so many phone calls that were pretty good phone calls and I just didn't follow up. Well, I shouldn't have even bothered with the contact. You know, sometimes we're afraid to follow up because we don't want to hear a no, but if you don't follow up, it is a no. So set up the follow-up clearly during your first conversation. How do you do that? May I ask you, John? Set up clearly during your first conversation. The way I would do that would be by saying, okay, John, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a couple of little links. The first video goes for 11 minutes. The next is just a page that you might want to peruse. It'll take you 5 minutes. Do you think you have the chance to do that over the weekend? So get a commitment from them. I used to send these big, long emails. Now I just send links to people's phone or to their WhatsApp because I know they have their phone in their hand. It's going to be a lot faster for them to check it out than to find an email that maybe went to their junk mail and that had 17 links on it that would literally take them 3 months to view. I send very quick information because I'm interested in momentum. I want to keep things going quickly. So I'll book the follow-up. Yep, you can have a look over the weekend. Wonderful. All right. So I'll call you on Monday around the same time as today. And what we'll do then is just see if you have any questions and discuss possible next steps. That's the setup for the follow-up. And then when you get to the follow-up, this is a question that Mal taught me. May I ask you, John, is your interest so far in the health benefits as a consumer, or are you also interested in the opportunity to generate some income? And from there, you can really have a clear plan for what's next, right? You're either going to be talking about the product a little bit more or the opportunity. When people start to discuss their goals, I like to get them onto a Zoom, show them a little bit around the back office as part of the follow-up even, to show them how easy it is to build this business. And I even like to show them the income disclosure statement. Super great to be transparent, show them exactly what we're all earning, and ask them to pick a figure that would change their life. Would $12,000 a month change your life? What would it cost you to be able to ease up and go part-time? Or what about, could Mary come home and leave her job? What would that require in terms of the finances? If they're looking to save up for a house, what sort of amount you want to be putting away every month? Make it relevant to them. And that's the follow-up. The follow-up is all about the person. It's not an opportunity for you to convince anybody about the product or the opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to be a problem solver that helps the person get a little bit closer towards their goals. And in order to do that, you and I need to know what their goals are. Final thoughts. What do you and I need to learn? Between you and your success is an amount of contacts you need to make and a different person you may need to become. That should not scare you. That should excite you. It would scare me to think that 10 years could go by and I would be the same person. I need to change. I'm excited about the possibility of how much better I could be as a human being, as a mum, as a wife, as a business builder. So what do I need to learn to better connect with people? I'm excited about learning. What are the reasons people fail? Because sure, not everybody makes it. I mean, not everybody makes it in anything. Not everybody makes it to the Olympics. But here it's different because everybody can. There's no reason why you can't have success. But the reasons people sometimes don't, they simply lack discipline. They do things really, really well. They just don't do them often enough. They lack a plan. They want to stumble over success. I'll see when I make the next contact rather than a determination to, I'm going to do 2 a day or I'm going to do 10 a day. Or they lack ambition or vision. We all want things, but do we expect them? Really, that's a question I had to ask myself. If you've been knocked around by life a little bit, you start to build up a profile of what you think your life's going to be. And really, it's a lie because your life can be whatever you want it to be. That's not just fuzzy words. People change their life quickly in Asea. Every single year, people become multimillionaires that start off from the same place you're starting off today. The reason is because we have a perfect storm of product, opportunity, and culture. We are at a moment in time that it's like Steve Jobs walked up to you and said, mate, I've got a new idea. It's a cool kind of phone called the iPhone. Do you think people would like it? Do you want to help me bring it to market? That is literally the kind of revolution that you and I have the chance to be part of. And guess what? Some people even told Steve-O no. So people will tell you no as well, but just make sure you're the one that says yes, okay? Write your Asea story. There's some incredible leaders around the world people from all kinds of backgrounds, beautiful people from all sorts of challenges, some with experience in this kind of industry, some without, some with medical backgrounds, some that are come from the corporate world, some with families, some with no families, some with in partnerships that are supportive, some that aren't, some that arrived here for health challenges, some that arrived here for business. But the common denominator is that we work together as a team. You are well supported, you are well positioned, and if you want to make it here, you totally can. Okay, well, that is the conclusion of the trainee part. I know I rushed past that really quickly, but it'll be recorded. Let's see what the comments are right here. Okay, good evening, lots of good evenings. Okay, is there any actual questions in there that people would like me to answer, or are we feeling okay about the information? There's one comment there that Gary said most of his people say it's too expensive. Again, I kind of covered that a little bit, Gary, that there's a lot of us building this business. And, you know, at the beginning, I did get that a little bit. I had some comments like that, but then I realized that Malcolm and Danny literally never got comments about it being expensive. So I had to think and consider that maybe I was projecting that, because for me, it was expensive at the time. I didn't have much money. But Malcolm and Danny were able to transmit such value in their conversations that the money literally never came up. So my encouragement to you would be to go to Upline. If you're frequently getting an objection, find out what it could be in your own perception, or what could be a better way to handle it in ways. Talk to somebody who's not getting that objection and find out how they are sharing this opportunity and what might be some of the personal hang-ups. And it's not just about the price. People get sometimes the same repeat objection. I promise you, guys, it's always a tip-off about what we think deep down. Okay, fantastic. Steve makes a great comment. We're not selling and convincing. We're in sifting and sorting. Thanks, Gary, for your comment. It's been lovely to share with you. I've just about lost my voice, guys. Lots of love. Have a great evening. And I'll see you here on Wednesday. If you'd like to invite anybody to discover Asea, I'm sorry, it's going to be me again. Hopefully I'll have my voice back. All right, take care. Good night.